Welcome to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25 Media. We feature top founders, executives, and business leaders from all over the world.
Chad Franzen here, co-host of the Top Business Leaders Show, where we go CEOs, entrepreneurs, and top leaders in the business world. This episode is brought to you by Rise 25. We help B2B businesses reach their dream relationships and connect with more clients, referrals, and strategic partnerships, and get ROI through Done For You podcasts. If you have a B2B business and want to build great relationships, there's no better way to do it than to profile the people and companies you admire on your own podcast. To learn more, go to rise25.com or email us at support@rise25.com. Leigh Feldman is the current CEO of Bishops Cuts Color, a unisex hair shop concept with franchise locations in 21 states. Hey, Leigh, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you?
Well, thank you for letting me join you. I was actually able to go to rise25.com and check it out. It's very cool, all the services they provide.
Thank you. Thanks for checking it out and for telling us about that. We'll encourage everybody to go there. But before we get started talking about Bishops, tell me how you got involved with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to be part of the organization for 6.5 years now. But I basically joined when I think I was about to have my second or third child. And I was working for a large tech company that starts with G and traveling quite a bit. And my wife was saying, "Do you plan to be a father to these children?" And almost at the exact moment, I got a call from a friend that was working at Bishops, and he said, "Hey, I think there's actually going to be an opportunity for the CMO role. Would you be interested in interviewing and meeting the CEO?" And I went and got coffee. We had a meeting. We had a great time. What was supposed to be a 20-minute meeting turned into 2.5 hours. He ended up offering me the role, and I joined as the CMO first in February 2018. And I was with them and helped guide them through 2 acquisitions through private equity and VC, as we split the corporate and franchising arm. And then as he sort of sailed off into the sunset, literally to Hawaii, I was promoted to the CEO role. And I've been in that for almost 2.5 years at this point.
Wow, good for you. So you mentioned you started, you had been working for a company that starts with G. I suppose everybody can guess what that is. Can you tell us about...
If not, you can look it up online.
Can you tell us about kind of maybe some of your experience that you had prior to joining Bishops that, has been beneficial to you and helpful in terms of your success that you're having now?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a kind of the quote that guides me related to data. I mean, Bishops is a very much data-driven organization. A lot of our decision-making strategy, anything that we look forward to is based on data. And the experience I had before joining Bishops is really the idea of related to data. Is it important because it's measured or measured because it is important? And I think what I learned is that so many people are reporting things to their management, their senior leadership, and a lot of things are not really key to the focus or the core consumer or the strategic direction, KPIs that are being tracked. And so much work is being done just for the work, especially related to pulling and analyzing data to make these decisions that you really have to, again, step back and ask, is this important because it's measured or measured because it's important? That's one of the key takeaways that I took from there that I then brought to Bishops and said, let's strip out a lot of these things that don't make sense for us and the decisions we're making to expand the company and grow the company and maybe have the company acquired. And I'm really thankful for my time at that large tech company and previously working at an ad agency, because it really taught me the idea of how do you slim down what you were doing and have a core focus. I know EOS is popular for a lot of entrepreneurs, but I do believe as a guiding management system, that is a great one.
Very nice. So as I mentioned, Bishops Cuts Color is a unisex hair shop concept with franchise locations in 21 states. Can you maybe just give us a feel for what it's like when somebody maybe like myself who's never been there would walk in there? What kind of a vibe would I see, or what kind of a vibe would I experience? What would I see? Things like that.
Well, the shop is actually specifically built to catch your attention in a variety of ways, from the time you walk or drive by with our art on the windows to get people to really what we call the fishbowl effect. They walk up to the window and they literally put their face against the window and go, what is in there? And then again, the store is set up in a very specific way where we have our syndicated Bishops TV playing. So we have specific videos visually that are there to grab your attention. We have the audio side of the music as well. The shop is set up so that it can really create a community feel, everything from our waiting room to the way the chairs are stationed so they can be turned so that people in chair can have conversation. And as far as what you'd see, it's really anybody and everybody from your community. I mean, we really say that we are tolerant unless you are intolerant. I think the piece that makes us so unique as a hair shop, and we use that word specifically because people say, what's a hair shop? And we say, well, we're a hybrid barbershop salon. We do all your services, anything you might need, but it's really about the services you're receiving. It's not about who you are. Is this a men's cut or a woman's cut or a kid's cut? It's really about the length of your hair. And again, what kind of services you want, whether line design, color, perm, extension, some of the other services that we do in the shop. At the end of the day, cuts and color are our core focuses. But as far as what you'll see, it's really a smattering of your community because we believe that we provide salon level services at appropriate market pricing in your area. And that's what really brings in a lot of clientele because of that a la carte piece. You know that you're going to be charged for whatever you want. And it's going to be the same, again, even if you identify as a female or a male or a child or somebody a little older.
So you have locations across 21 states. How many Bishops locations are there?
We're at 42.
What would you say makes Bishops different? I mean, you've highlighted a lot of things that are unique about Bishops. What would you say maybe makes an experience at Bishops different than another hair salon franchise?
I love that question because I'm asked it all the time. Why Bishops? Why should I go to Bishops? For most female identifying clients, I ask them, hey, I love your hair color. What do you pay to get this done? Or what do you pay for a long cut or a short cut? And then we'll start to talk about gendered pricing. Do you think you should be paying more for that service simply because you are a woman versus a man with long hair getting that same kind of style but being charged less? Usually when it comes to color, because we have a large structural discount, we're able to charge less for the color services. So when a woman tells me I pay X amount of dollars, I say, I can't give you an exact quote because I'm not a stylist, but you should come in for a free color consultation. I'm pretty confident we can beat what you're paying and do it a little better. For most male identifying clients who ask, why Bishops? Why should I go there? I really just ask, when's the last time your stylist talked to you about your halo? And people will look at me like I am insane, like I'm speaking a foreign language, like I'm an alien. They'll go, I've been getting my hair cut for 50 years. What are you talking about a halo? My barber, my stylist, my hairdresser has never talked to me about a halo. What is that? And I go, well, you should come into Bishops. You're really not getting salon level services for the pricing, whatever it is you're paying, because ideally someone should be talking to you about that. And for any listeners who are wondering what the hell is a halo, it's the parietal ridge. It's where the hair meets the top and the middle so that you can find the balance and volume. Maybe you're losing some, you need to go a different length in certain areas. Your stylist should be talking to you about that so you can walk out looking and feeling the best you ever have.
So how does Bishops kind of, you mentioned the affordable prices a couple of times there. How do you balance kind of that high quality service with prices that people can afford?
Yeah, I mean, it's partly due to the margins that we have on our structural discounts with our partners, any of the vendors that are in store. We have continuing education, and we have a base model structure that's really great for any franchise owner to set up to run a location. The continual education part is really interesting because stylists traditionally are neglected as far as the ability to learn more. Once they graduate school, they're kind of kicked out by the butt and go, hey, go out on your own and figure it out, which is not unlike other college programs I know of in the undergraduate space. But for stylists, they're really told, hey, go and figure this out. Go and figure out how to market for yourself, how to do some of these other services that you maybe didn't learn. And Bishops sort of works with those stylists to come in and provide that continuing education so they really can become well-rounded in all facets of their craft.
So you talked a little bit about franchising. How many of the locations that are currently operating are owned by franchisees?
Yeah, we're 100% a franchise network. So all of them are owned by franchisees.
What are the benefits of operating a Bishops franchise?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, one I'm often asked, opposed to why Bishops, why should I go to Bishops? It's why Bishops, why should I own a Bishops? And I think the biggest piece is it's sort of low entry to tech. Anything and everything for managing the business can be done from your phone. All reports, all spreadsheets, payroll, anything from that can be done from your phone. So there's really no knowledge of the vertical that's needed to actually run the business. Yeah, you hire a manager who kind of runs the whole show. So it's that sort of semi-executive, semi-absentee model where you can say, hey, I'll manage you, you manage this team. You just ladder up those reports. I can see them on my phone. And, as long as everything's running as far as staffing, everything else can kind of do it on its own on the tech side. There's also no accounts receivable. There's no real inventory. Your team brings their own tools. It's commission based, so the labor scales with each dollar that you have. I mean, it really makes itself great. And then you have us as the franchisor, who I truly believe provides more support than any other network or system in place as far as acting as an aspirin and really taking out the headaches that an owner might have for running a business. Things like your listings and reputation management, posting on social media, responding to client reports, all of those things that you sort of get bogged down in when it actually comes to running a business, we take care of that for you as the franchisor. So that combination of these things of really not having to know or know how to do the work, plus the support you receive, I think that's the reason why people should look at buying a Bishop's franchise location.
What does Bishops look for then in a potential franchisee?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for people that are really process driven. They understand what it takes to follow a roadmap. This is not our first rodeo. Bishops has been around for 23 years at this point, so we know what it takes to be successful. We've built that out in operations guide and marketing plans. So we really need people that are process driven, can understand those things, but obviously a personality. We want somebody that is sort of integrated into their community. They know how to build a safe space, a community space, a place where people of all walks of life want to go. And if you have that, you're going to be pretty good within our system.
So beyond that, what does it take to, invest in the Bishops?
Yeah, on the low end, depending upon market, you're looking at around $278,000, and on the high end, you're looking at around 489. The biggest difference is that we, as a franchise network, don't necessarily provide a shop in a box, like most franchise locations. We allow you to customize it and pick the things that make sense for you and your market, the look and feel that you want to create for your area. So you see quite a big swing on the build out based on what you select for what you want in your store. So that's the discrepancy that you see from the 287 to the 489.
Has there been a time where Bishops has demonstrated a commitment to inclusivity and maybe even like sacrificed its own on its own business end to do so?
Oh, I don't know about sacrificing on their own business end, but inclusivity is part of our core ethos. We are a hair shop for all, accepting, convenient, and really now at this point ahead of trends. And that acceptance piece is so pertinent to who we are and the customers that we serve. We have locations in the South where clients have driven 8+ hours while in the middle of their transition to get their first haircut after transitioning, knowing that we are listed and registered as a safe space. So that inclusivity, that piece as far as acceptance and knowing that everyone is welcome. Again, we say we are tolerant unless you are intolerant. People really know that they can find a Bishops and know, again, that that's a safe place where they can go for any type of service that they might want.
We're headed towards the end of the calendar year 2023. How has Bishops evolved during the past year?
Yeah, I mean, we went through our acquisition with private equity. So now we are in full support mode for the current stores in our system, increasing top line revenue, AUVs, looking at new vendors to bring in that have greater margins and superior product for next year. And then obviously we're expanding. We're heavily invested in our franchise sales development groups, working with certain networks to make sure that we bring in owners that we know understand the Bishops ethos and award them territory licenses in markets that make sense for a Bishops location to exist.
How does Bishops view kind of the future of the haircut industry?
Oh, it is right now an $86 billion industry and just growing. So I think most people are going to continue to choose the sort of community-minded, artist-driven, energetic space over those value chain chop shop salons that you see that pop up that really have no brand, no identity outside of what you see on the TV commercial promoting them. Bishops is really one where you create something specific to your market. You build people and teams that are local to your area, and you really support those in your community by creating a fun environment. Everyone always talks about the value of an experience, and Bishops is certainly a place that provides that. I think that's why people will continue to choose us versus other places that you might call sterile.
Tell me a little bit more about the artist-driven environment. Where do you guys kind of get the art? What role does that art play more specifically?
Oh, the art creates the sort of vibe, as you said earlier, the environment of the space, so much so. So we partner with local muralists to build out murals within each shop location. We have a partnership with a national ad magazine called Juxtapose Magazine that assists with finding artists in markets. And then the owners get to select from sketches and drawings and sort of award the opportunity to design and paint and install the mural or art in the space.
So you talked about how some customers have traveled 8 hours to come and have their receive your services there at Bishops. How do you guys kind of get the word out to those people? It must be quite the experience if they're willing to do that, to drive 8 hours.
Yeah, there's certainly some groups that we work with to make sure that we're registered on safe space sites so that people from marginalized communities can find places that they know they can go and trust to not be judged, or in sadly some severe cases, not be physically harmed for going in and requesting certain things based on how they identify. So we work with those registry groups to make sure that they know that every Bishops is a place for anyone to come to and that all are welcomed.
Is there something that you guys do to maintain that non-judgmental environment?
It's a major part of our training. I mean, we immediately suggest to store owners to cut anybody from the team that does not understand the core values of who we are and who we serve.
So let's say you've just hired an incredibly talented stylist, but they don't really fit the values. What's the next step that's taken?
Well, I think it's a question of that individual. Are they open to sort of becoming more accepting of people and the lifestyle that they choose? Or is it something where they say, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to be forever? And even being exposed to different people with different backgrounds, different nationalities, different religions, different sexual orientations, if that would open their mind up to realizing that people are people. And if they say, I am judging these people and the way that they live, they are not welcome as part of our team.
Okay, sounds good. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about Bishops that you'd like to share?
No, I think we're looking for tons of new people to expand Bishops in states we are in currently and states we are not in. So we are always welcome to the conversation of somebody who wants to work with creatives and create a space in their community where people can gather and really experience fun, art, youthful energy, and get people walking out the door feeling the best they ever have about themselves and the way they look.
Sounds great. How can people find out more about Bishops, either as a customer or a potential franchisee?
Yeah, I hope people visit us online, www.bishops, that's bishops.co, not .com, .co. So www.bishops.co.
Okay. Hey, Leigh, it's been great to talk to you. Great to find out more about Bishops. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Chad. I really appreciate you having me.
So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25. Visit rise25.com to check out more episodes of the show and to learn more about how you can start your own podcast.